Mazal Tov, everyone. We have finished Masechet Nedarim, and now we are entering a new tractate from the Talmud in the Daf Yomi, which is Masechet Nazir, which is a phenomenal one. It's going to be 67 pages in total, so it's going to span, if we're learning it every day, just over 2 months and 1 week. And then Bez Hashem, we will do a siyum also for Masechet Nazir at that due time. So let's summarize. What is the Nazir, first of all? We need to be introduced and get kick-started afresh. So, a Nazir is someone that forbids, that is forbidden upon himself. He restricts himself within regards to the following things. Within regards to consuming grapes or any product of grapes, he restricts himself from cutting his hair from the head, which could be a specific amount of time, 30 days or longer. And he restricts himself from becoming a tamemet, from coming in contact with a corpse or whatever it might be. What's interesting is, actually, as an introduction, that the vow he makes of Nizirut obligates the Nazir in 10 specific different mitzvot. What is it? So it can be categorized by 8 negative mitzvot and 2 positive mitzvot. So what are they? I'll just summarize it for you. The 8 negative mitzvot, which we can relate over, is not to drink wine or partake of anything in which wine was mixed or even has a taste of wine, potentially. That could be one thing. Not to eat fresh grapes, which is delicious, but one restrict himself. Not to eat raisins, naturally, because raisins are from grapes. Not to eat grape seeds also. Also, not to eat grape peels. That's another thing that is against it. Not to become impure through contact with a dead body, which I stated very much before. Not to enter below any roof beneath which a corpse, a dead body, is found. That is, we're going to learn that very much inside this tractate. And not to shave, so one's not going to be able to shave or with cut their hair or shave their beard or whatever it might be. There's 2 positive mitzvot also I must add on also, which categorizes the totality of the 10 mitzvot. That is to let his hair grow long for a defined amount of time, and to shave his hair when bringing the korban at the end of his nizirut if he becomes tamemet at that specific time. And we can learn all about that. Actually, it's interesting. In the Torah itself, it relates, I believe, in the Parshat Naso in Sefer Bamidbar, it will talk all about Nazir. And the Torah describes the declaration of Nizirut as a neder. It will actually say that this is a category of neder. We've just exited the tractate in the Nedarim. The pasuk is, Ish o isha ki yaflo, lindor neder nazir lazir Allah. So, it's interesting. As such, it has many of the characteristics of a general neder, as a general thing. It is a set of voluntary prohibitions, because the person is volunteering upon themselves these prohibitions. These prohibitions don't come by default. There is a verbal declaration, just like in Nedarim we learned about. He's got to say bal peh through his mouth, and it's subject to hatara. Once again, hatarat Nedarim comes in, annulment, or in the case, it could be hafarat Nedarim, if it is within regards to a woman, or whether it's talking about the husband of a woman, or the father, if she's at 12 to 12 and a half, or below that threshold, respectively. So it's actually interesting, in today's Talmud, in Gemara in Daf of Bet we are in today, they say there's no necessary formula within regards to Nezirut. And there's a concept called Kinui Nezirut, which is, it could also be classified as the Yadot Nezirut, which these things can create a full obligation upon themselves. So in the Gemara in today's Daf, it actually will discuss the order in which Kinui Nezirut and Yadut Nezirut are presented by the Mishnah, and suggests that Kinui Nezirut are mentioned first because they are midoraita. They actually are from the Torah itself, the Kinui Nezirut is. While Yadut Nezirut, which are learned from Miderasha, which is from a homiletic teaching, are taught afterwards. So maybe it's not necessarily that part is going to be midoraita. And actually, the commentator from the Talmud, the Tosfot, is actually going to point out that according to the Talmud in the Yerushalmi, which there's Talmud Babli I've related for, and Talmud Yerushalmi, it's actually related that Kinui Nezirut are expressions developed by the Rabbanim for use when making vows. One is going to make a neder. And effectively, both the Kinui Nezirut and Yadut Nezirut are of rabbinical origin, it can be argued. So it's Midirabanan as opposed to Midoraita, which I said before with regards to the prior. Based on this approach, if we look at it that way, even though the Gemara, the Talmud, finds passages in the Torah to which the concept of kinui nedarim is connected, there's a kesher too. Someone who uses such an expression to accept Nazirut upon himself would not bring the korbanot that a regular Nazir ordinarily brings, even though he will receive a punishment of lashes, which is naturally translated as malkot inside the Hebrew terminology, if he breaks the rules of Nazirut, albeit only on a rabbinic level. So within regards to getting a punishment of lashes, even if one is over a rabbinic definition of Nazirut, of the vow, he will also, according to this, will be subject to the punishment of lashes, just like if it was a midoraita terminology used. Some commentators, however, suggest they, according to the Talmud, both the kinui Nazirut and the yadut Nazirut are treated as creating biblical obligations. It actually might be, there's a case that it's midoraita from the Torah. It's from the Bible itself. According to this approach, when our Gemara, the Talmud, presented yadut nedarim as being derived as midarasha from that specific phrase, it does not indicate that yadot are rabbinic. So it could be that yadot is also in the category of being min haTorah itself respectively, but rather that they are not clearly written inside the Torah. So it's interesting. This approach is similar to the Rambam. There's a commentator, the Rambam, who very much we should learn about also, who uses expression midivrei sofrim. What is this? That's from the words of the scribes, what they said themselves, the rabbis said themselves, when referring to laws that have biblical leaning, biblical weight to it, but are derived from the words of the Torah rather than being written explicitly. So there's other quasi-state where it's actually darshan from the Torah itself, and it's got that sort of weight, but it's not been explicitly stated inside the Torah. So these are some tidbits which you could learn within regards to an introduction to Masechet Nazir, within regards to what defines Nazir. And in this tractate, it relates over the kinui Nazirut and the yadut Nazirut. What is it? Is it midoraita from the Torah itself? Is it the Rabbanan itself? What ramifications it will have? Or is it derived from a doraita? Is it got a sort of a quasi-state? So guys, stay tuned. Let's learn every day today. And Bez Hashem, we are going to take on this incredible Masechet of Nazir. Have an awesome day, guys, and enjoy. Take care. Bye.